about this activity, remember, don't get disturbed with the pictures right away. On your books, what you need to do is just divide your page into two. एक side in notice बरोबर आणि एक side in wonder. Notice and wonder. Very simple. After the activity is over, I will give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes. In these 5 minutes, what you need to do is, under notice, you write what you see. Kiti jata hai? What is happening? I'll come to that. Wonder. Our बाय मजा आहे का एको ते प्लेन बोल तुम्ही त्या प्लेन हल्ला Yeah, exactly. And this same thing happens in our classes. The moment you introduce something, children are there. So imagine introducing the code to them directly. What are you going to do with the child? You know, बावडी आंग काढतोय. I remember काल दौड घुमताले. टीचर मंजुषा येले म्हाका सांगले माझे मी दौडेक नाही. Then she started telling me दौडे मी एक साइड in. Okay, now under notice what you are going to write? What you see, what is happening here. Okay, and under wonder what you are going to do is how. What is happening is here and how it is happening. How? Once you see the activity, it will be more clear. I will get this one time again. कितले बरोवपाचे पॉइंट्स 5 मार्क आहे किती बोललेले तुम्ही 5 तरी बरयतली सी हाउ आवर ब्रेन आर ट्यून टू दैट 5 मार्क 5 कोणी पॉइंट पडवून जाय इवन इफ यू राइट 1 पॉइंट इज मोर देन इनफ इफ यू राइट मोर देन दैट स्टिल बेटर ऑलराइट रेडी अजून स्टार्ट जाऊन activity जाऊनी I will tell you when to start writing. Okay, Rashil sir, just if you can come here. हाँ तो है don't bring anything, no book, no pen. We will take you on a trip. Here or Daboli airport also and you okay. So sir here is going to fly from Dabolim to Mocha. Simple. So sir, if you sit in the flight now, you think about stuff, the flight and boss. He's sitting. Okay. If the flight has to go anywhere, what is the first thing it has to do? Boy, sit belt का dialogue है. Sit belt no कराचो. Yeah. So sequence is done, announcements done, that safety drill, this side, that side is all done. He is ready to fly. So the first step is take off. Correct? Oh, initial speed. For me, no, sitting in the plane, the best part was takeoff. Excitement, no, speed, and yeah, it moves on top. Now, sir has set in the flight and is flying now. So now he is at that takeoff. Next step, that cruising altitude. No? Once it reaches that, they put it on autopilot and then pilot goes for tea. So now he is at the cruising altitude. Once they are ready now to descend, what is supposed to do? The flight will now start descending. So that means where it was moving at constant speed, now it's suddenly descending. or descend जाता तो सर मुखार तुझे flight देऊंगा. This descent, if it continues after hitting the ground, कितना जातले? So there is a point where it has to stop and then move at that constant speed. And if you see when the flight lands, does it stop abruptly there? It takes some more time to. And if you have been to Dabolim Airport, it is the shortest strip. Actually, less ahadi. Today stop the flight for some type of a thing. They apply those hard brakes for it and then they turn around. So once you reach here, you have landed in your Mumbai. Now all I want you to do, teachers, is you have seen the whole journey of sir flying from Dabolim to Mumbai. There have been changes happening somewhere. Whatever you see or whatever you've seen in this activity, I want you to write. That will come under notice. What did you notice in this activity happening? And there will be something that you wonder, no? How? How did that come down? How did it go on top? These are the hows. They will come under wonder. And wonder, everyone has a different answer. Okay? So you can take your seat, teachers. You all can go. Done, teachers? Okay. Now pens up. Pens up. Aning 1 minute jai tuka. Chaldi actually. Now I want everyone to participate. I want everyone to see. It is no harm taking 1 more minute. No problem. And believe me, I learnt that way. I learnt by taking time. I don't mind being the slowest. But the ultimate aim should be, I learnt. And what I'm doing right now is I'm taking you all through the process of how I learnt. It might be beneficial to you, or you might have a better idea than that. Not a problem. Teacher, you carry on writing. From others, I will start taking the responses. Okay. Now, what did you notice? Aeroplane was there. There was an object, aeroplane. It is alive. So everyone noticed that there was a plane.
Plane was parked.
Yes, it was halted in the first before we started, it was halted in one place. Then what happened to it? How? Sorry, how? It started moving.
Take off.
Take off. Very good. Take off will be a better word to use because we know what is a take off, no? Then what happened? Went at a steady speed. So at a steady finally what happened? Started descending, no? So it was getting ready to land. We take common terms which our students will use. Finally,
Staying on ground.
stop. It had to stop. Stop करना झाला किती जातले हाले तेका would have kept moving, and that is not what we want. Then sir will be on a joyride. The aeroplane थिंगा घुमत रावतले तो भितरू बसून असतलो. So it has to stop. Anybody anything more than this? Anything more that you saw? Sorry? Wheels were not seen. Boy, Rastana wheels distoli teji? Kidak this Not required. It's a landing gear. It is taken inside. So good observation that the wheels were not seen. Don't mind my handwriting. माझे डॅडीक न्हू हांव डॉक्टर जाल्लो जाय आलो तेंचे हँड रायटींग येयलें म्हाका मुखावयलें कांय येवंक ना ओके वॉट एल्स या एक्झॅक्टली वॉट अ ऑब्झर्वेशन तो म्हणटा हितून तेजे विंडोज आनी कोण देर आर कांय दिसोंक ना येस probably in the night. You know what you are doing right now is सरान एक क्वेश्चन विचारलो तेजे आपल्याक विंडोज दिसोंक नाय आनी कांय ना टीचर आन्सर्ड मे बी probably traveling in the night. You never know.
Maybe it is painted black only.
Maybe the picture is black in color. Who knows? Sir?
Night असताना light असते.
होय होय आनीक काय बरें ऑब्झर्वेशन सर वॉज इन द फ्लायट तो कितें म्हणटा नायट आहा तेन्ना तेका लायट आसता व्हेरी गुड ऑब्झर्वेशन सो दॅट मीन्स इट वॉज एट एन ऑल्टिट्यूड वेर यू कुडंट सी वेदर इट वॉज if you see I don't have place now more to write or maybe if I continue there will be so many other observations that you all have told me. Was anybody wrong? Was anything wrong?
No.
And if you see, the thought process of sir was different from what teacher was thinking. तेणे म्हणले विंडो दिसोंक ना तिणे सांगले रातीको वयताले. Then sir's thing was completely different. तो म्हणटा जो रातीको वयताले लायट आसोंक जाय. Beyond that, sir said if this was the case, then it must be at a very high altitude. So right now, what you have done, no teachers, is you have noticed what is happening around. ये activity in तुम्ही notice केला कितें जाता पळय तें. Now let's go to the wonder part of it. What do you wonder? I was not wondering this. That's your phone?
Yes.
Ringtone boro khaila. Just please put it to silent mode, all of you. I know our schools miss us and then they start calling, you know. Schoolansan poilo eta phone sota. Ready? Now let's go to wonder. Tell me wonder now. How? What? एक question gal makala.
How
What is starting engine? Starting engine.
At what speed? I'll write whatever you all are saying. At what speed it was traveling and what? How does it take off with so much of weight?
Increase of time.
No, it's like a wonder, no? That a flight which has tons of weight can still fly.
even after gravity?
Yes. So these are observations that will come from students. तितून एक स्मार्ट भुरगो आसतलो न्हू who knows everything about aviation must be following many YouTube channels also. So can we tell him that he is wrong in wondering what is happening? Can we say wrong? No, wrong जाय ना. Because he sees it in a different way. So weight आहा इतलो तें कशें fly जाता मागीर speed गायली time
Direction.
How it balance?
direction
Yeah.
how does it balance with so much
Maintain constant speed.
yes
This is road. Of no roads, it goes to the right. So how does
Yeah.
manage to find the road?
find the right place so like the radar so the direction matches with the picture sorry how it turns how does it know at what angle to turn and come down I don't know if you have flown from Dabolin पावच्या आदीनून plane एक बरो turn मारता सारको so deep you feel like you're sitting in an F1 car it bends on one side you know
Fuel.
sorry
What fuel?
fuel very good shit because something has moved you know I think what's it all name So the fuel factor, very good, very good.
Things to check before flying.
Yes. सगळे त्याचे सारखे हा. Yeah, the engine they check करताय ना पहिले. They do all the checks and then it's cleared to fly. So that will come there. Now, आम्ही आजूबाजून फ्लाइट बायल्यान उलयताले टीचर भितर वचोन येयली एअर हॉस्टेस येस अमेझिंग वंडर वॉट फूड वर दे गिवन कोण सांगतालो नाईट टाइम म्हणून डिनर मेळ्ळा आसतलो ना सर विल टेल अस वॉज इन द फ्लाइट नो what food was served sir will tell us so if you see teachers anything else कितें म्हणून जनेलांतल्यान भायर कितें दिसता सर सांगतालो जनेला नाही म्हणून आता टीचर म्हणटा जनेलांतल्यान भायर कितें दिसता so the how of it कितें there's they always say that Vasco we have got two ports airport aha and even ship no to airport tingat aha okay let me ask you first about the activity now did everybody participate
Yes.
सगळ्यांक जे भाशेन सांगलेलें तुम्ही केलें the people came here their role was to show you done your role was to notice and wonder done sir's role was to fly in the plane we did that now the reason why we did this activity is I was explaining keyframes to you kenna kele the keyframes now let's break it down okay how many pictures were here 5 एक्टिविटी कितें आहली सराक प्लेनान बसोंक जाय आहलो हुंय तें दाबोली आनी हुंय पावोंक जाय आहलो हाडून पावलो पावलो फ्लाइट रीच so these 5 here which we have placed are my keyframes हे माझे keyframes his flight from there to here is my total timeline. Do I have to explain the code? Did I explain the code? Did we even touch the code? Not yet. But did you get the idea of how keyframes work? All in. 500 songs जाय? Can be more. Can be less. What does that depend on? Exactly. तुका कितले changes जाय? I could have done this only with 3. Could have shown you moving that top one. आणि पावन. Correct? We are discussing something else. Now the important part of keyframes is that you should be able to picture this. I know flight acho video पयलो एकूच flight कशें चडटा. But it is our role now as teachers to picture this happening this way. And if you notice, and I was waiting for at least someone to say that the first image and the last image are the same. So what does it tell you about a timeline? That it starts at a frame and it ends at that same frame. And the examples that we are going to see, most of them do that. Most. Now does it make sense to you why we did this before telling you this? If I could have come here प्रेजेंटेशन करून जाताले एक स्लाइड घालून जाताली की फ्रेम्स. व्हॉट आर की फ्रेम्स? गिव द डेफिनेशन. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. व्हॉट आर टाइमलाइन्स? पुट द डेफिनेशन. जालें न्हू? तुमकां नोटूय करूंक मेळटलें आसलें. बट नाउ डू यू रिमेंबर हाउ की फ्रेम्स वर्क? So every timeline can be broken down into keyframes. Okay, so just for you to know that if my timeline is totally of 100%, then I can break my keyframes into, say, first one is 0, Magi 25%, then I can take it to 50%, then 75, and last is 5 stages, 5 lines. Should I stick to 5 always? No. Choice is yours. Tuka suppose running dakhong jahle. What else can you show in this activity? Turn dakhong gatola hala. Yeah. Yes. Takeoff could be done in a better way. So saying the wheels couldn't be seen. Maybe in my takeoff I could show that landing gear going in. So kide jata hai? You will be increasing your keys. Every time something changes on your timeline, you have to add a. So can I do something with only 3 keyframes? Yes, possible. 0 stage eteli 50% zatalo and 100% zatalo. So whenever you want something to change, that is where I put a. Clear? Does the activity make sense? Does this make sense?
Yes.
So now as teachers, kide important jale? Code important? Things like these.
Understanding and thinking process.
Exactly, teacher. And how we have to understand is what that child would do. तुम्ही कशें का ल्हान काडले ते साइन आनी कॉस पोवन. Same thing will happen to students. And nothing different happened to me when I saw sine and cos. I was wondering, why do I learn maths now? Computers गेले maths avoid करून. At least for me, But now I realize that anything that you do, any animation that you want, anything that turns or anything that rotates, what happens in that? Something is changing. किती चेंज जाता तेजे? एंगल. मागीर तूं म्हणटली कितें वेरिएबल घे, ताका एंगल म्हूण नांव दी आनी तेका गुंडाळया. एंगलूच नांव दवरूंक जाय ताका, कितेंय नांव दवरूंक जाता. You remember multiplication of matrix? Code आसतालो तेजो. For loop, formula. मागीर तेजी closing braces. What does the first for loop start with? Which alphabet? For every I is equal to 0, I should be less than or equal to 2, I plus plus. My aning ek open jatalo. For J is equal to 0, J should be less than or equal to 2, J plus plus. And there's a formula. Ati ema kitak ugda saha? Kitak dista tumka? Because I learned it by heart. And yesterday what we were trying to do is every time the code comes up, तुम्ही लडू click होता है photo. Suppose होता है. तो कोणे पोगना माका. Not a bad thing to do. See, for me, no teachers, anything to learn, anything. But when that is done, you will learn the syntax of it. Like how I learned, I is equal to 0, I plus plus. I एक part I काढली आणि A काढली, J काढली आणि B काढली. My code was working, but the teacher called me. See, next time, no, you put I is equal to 0 and J is equal to 0. Okay? I said, why? I'm telling you, no. I'm telling you. तू A and B कित्याक घालता? I आणि J घाल. स्वतः इकडे और सब प्रोग्रामर घालून येयला, तू ही घाल. You must have received one teacher like that, no? असतली केन्नाय पूण लायफान दिसती पडलेली. हांव सांगता तें कर तूं. तुजी म्हाका भायलें कांय नाका.
Then he became developer.
Yeah. Yeah. So this teachers, this activity breaks the emphasis we have done on syntax. I mean, no paperwork magtai. Teacher Maya asked for paperwork on the first day. Paperwork amka chodshे कितें येला. Teacher, what was sent in the paperwork?
The drawing of the
Drawing. मागीर थोड्यांनी न्हू आपण code work केला तो धाडटाय. It's not wrong, huh, teachers. See, I'm not making fun of what you said. There is a difference here. But the working should have been, what is changing? आता तुमकां न्हू एक simple example दाखयता, and I'm sure you will all enjoy this. And when I saw it for the first time, I was like, wow, अशें करूंक जाता. Okay, it's on the projector. Just be patient, and I will just switch it on. Don't even look at the left hand side. Left hand side, totally ignore. Naans ko shikoti. Even if you can see, put your hand on top like this. The poet naga. Don't look at. Now, when we started, and when Desmos was introduced, I was quietly listening to people as they were saying, as teachers were saying. And true, somebody said, maths kidak shikpache. Maths kidak shikpache. आवोय आनीक एक टूल आता कोजो शिक म्हणटा ते म्हणटा डेस्मॉस आनी शिकोवपाचें आता. I'll tell you one thing that I did with Desmos. For me, Desmos is just for my understanding. If I don't understand something, I go here. And there was this time, when we were learning animation, when Anay sir was telling us, instruct hotalo, we were struggling at one point to understand how does this animation work. The same struggle you all went through yesterday. Again, that sine, cos, suddenly, what is this transition that we have to do now? We were all okay with drawing a square. We were all okay with drawing a scenery. I always get fascinated when I see teacher Sonali's teddy bear. That code is just amazing. For me, it is like, so much of things is done in such lot detail. So teddy bear, that small hands are there, and I was thinking, how? So that is her creativity. And I believe me, teachers, all here are creative. But the creativity, there are few things that can help you out. For me, my best friend has been this Desmos. Now the issue with Desmos is, it is an online tool. The internet connected us on it. The moment the internet snaps, finished. Desmos gallo. For that, there is another way out. There is something called as GeoGebra. Use karunga. Now what you will do here is, you're not going to teach with this. I'll show you something. Many of you will have this in your mind. Why animation? Kidak shikoya animation? No sir. Why animation? Kidak simple kyoya? Dakoya thinka.
students get excited with animation.
And how does it tell you, teacher, that they are excited about animation?
We have seen that excitement is questions.
Exactly. भुरग्याक फोन दिल्या पयलें कितें काडटा भुरग्या वचून?
कार्टून.
कार्टून आहा जाल्यार एनिमेशन आहा जाल्यार ते कार्टूनान. Games. Do they play still games? No, they want something moving, something turning, हिंग मारल्या फुटोंक जाय. In Kojo, we might not reach that level of making games, but at least basic understanding of how the animation works can be done. And I'll show you one simple example over here. This is called the Ninja Cat. Ninja Cat is a game. I think Koshi Cholta, no? Just see what is happening, teachers. See what happens when I move this. Okay? And I'm moving the other parameter, which is आता तुमकां विचार. What did you notice? Moving on the side, moving on. Correct? You all noticed, no? Everyone saw it, no? अरे ते move केले, or slider move केले, असे move केले. Oh, slider move केले. Let's bring that back onto a plane now. Remember when we started off with Scratch, everyone was told, please do it on a graph book, please bring a protractor, ruler asomde, pencil asomde. Then came a time we said, forget it. तो बाबा कोड आहा जाल्यार दी हांव कोड शिकयता बात खतम इधर त्या आनी नाका. Now do you see this over here? This is also a plane, no? आणि किती जाता when you move this, the cat is moving on this line, correct? What is this? X. आणि वयर सकयल मूव करतलो जाल्यार I'm sure all of us know it by now, but there will be someone who has a doubt. I'm trying to clear that doubt. Okay? Now see what happens if I do this to you. Kids are the ninja. Ninja is moving. What did I do now? Now we are wondering how is the कसो तो move जावंक लागलो एक जाग्यार रावलो मनीस. Start point and end point is given. Huncho the start point and end point?
0,
Somewhere around 650.
640.
Oh, 640. Yeah, precisely 640. Diga mano to?
Barela.
Oh, 640. That's the last value over here. 640. X value is incrementing, decrementing.
Both.
आता हे वचून भुरग्याक सांगले X value increment जाता decrement जाता ओय. See, the reason why I am showing you these tools, teacher, is when I saw this, I was like, wow, एक variable and मान ले सगळे move जाता. So basically, what it's doing, teachers, is it is giving this function a value. Every time that value is changing. तुम्ही animation केले ना पहिले, animate with function. What was the last step there? Something plus 1. So variable plus 1. तो plus 1 किती? Gradually increment. 2 गायला किती जाता? 5 येतो. 10 गायला जाल्यार
Jump.
So this is if I am moving the x-axis. Okay? Now, now what is happening? Correct. Now it's moving diagonally. And what is the reason you think? We have given values to both now, x and y. Does it give you the effect of an animation?
Yes.
It does. So, if I have to understand animations in a little better way, I can show this to my students. And believe me, they will tell you more than what we are actually trying to teach. Children know always have this that they go beyond. Have we done any magic over here? No, I have. See, when I click on this, when I click on this, it starts giving values. That's the only thing it does. So the values vary from 0 to 480. त्याच्यामध्ये तो नाचो होता हा. And that's why it gives you that effect. Now, if I ask you this question, I want the ninja cat to move up and down. Then which one do I stop? A हाथ नो. चलो बोल. And then you come down to this and stop. So there were many things that we were practicing. I did this also. Hey, animate करून पावंग ना. It is just a drawing. See this. Imagine showing this to students or showing that to students. What do you think will have more effect? हे गायले न्हू ती मुको पुरो आनी हुंचे एक्सानी बाय. So Desmos should be your best friend only when you require. Something I don't understand, I just want to put it there and see. Go there. And something that you learned there, now like how I am sharing it with you, that will help the students. Okay? So till now, have we touched code? Asun pasun na? Maybe for the next half an hour, we will not require laptops. Pen and paper. Thanks. Okay. Ready? You will require one page now. एक page जाए पड़ती. If it's a big book, one long page. Don't tear. तिगास नहीं देख. Divide that one page into 4 halves. होय, एक पेज तुझी 4 भागांनी. Yes. See, if this is your book. 4. Just 4. Ready? I want everyone to do this, huh? Everybody with a book and pen, please. Okay, now we need to rotate a square. This is my problem. I need to rotate a square. किधे जाए पड़ले पहिले? Square. Correct? After that, what do I require? Sorry? Rotate कुछ पड़ले. Be wondering how do we rotate something? How do we rotate? We rotate it by changing some number. एक खंयचो नंबर त्याचो चेंज जाता आणि तो नंबर तू जितलो वाडयता तितले ते टर्न जायत वयता. Correct? This is in general terms. Now in these 4 separate columns or 4 boxes, I want you to draw 4 squares. First square तुझे state 0 चेर आसोंक जाय. State 0. Just listen to what I'm saying. First square should be state 0. Second square should be state 45. Listen, listen. I'm not using anything else. I'm just using a normal language. State 0, state 45, state 60, 90. Draw. State 0, state 45, state 60, state 90.
0, 45.
I question Gaila. Question. 0, 45, 60, 90. Yes. Square जर 45 म्हणलो कसो दिसतलो? आता marks तिका दिवचे पडले. See, now what will help you here? Tell me. Pen and paper हा माकोड आणि किती जाय पडलेले? Yes. Now you remember why that protector was told? कित्याक घेऊंक जाय आसलो तो आती? Now you don't have it, it is fine. It is not a problem. You can even see on online, no, protractor बिश्तो वयर धरून पोंग जाता 45 degrees कितल्यांचेर पडटा तो. There is a difference between 45 and 60.
Yes.
Visible difference.
Yes.
Good. See teachers, it doesn't have to be perfect. How it is सारखे हांव draw करतलो no. You have to understand what those 4 different pictures are. That's the objective of this activity. You should know what is 45, you should know what is 90, and so तुक कोडाऊंगा. That is the object. Done, teacher? Very good. When will you do it? When? First class itself?
No.
First class itself केल्या 3 नकोय तो दुसरा भुरगोय नको. Once you have instructed students, once we have practiced, and still somebody has a difficulty, that is the time collaboration starts. Collaboration doesn't mean showing code. Please make that clear. Code दाखव collaboration no. Someone struggling in code and you're giving them na तू कित्याक दिला share the code with you, don't worry. That is not collaboration. Collaboration is on paper. Paperwork. Now somebody doesn't know what is 45 degrees. I will help. 60 degrees kon nako. I will help. Correct? So that is collaboration. And we have to work on this collaboration where we are making students write something down. That is collaboration. Okay, teacher? And it is a very valid question. Very nicely asked. Even I had not thought. Directly we'll have to first instruct the students and then put the idea across. And you do it once, later on they will understand what is collaboration. Teacher Pallavi, if you could just go and draw the 4 shapes. You're actually showing the angle and then drawing. Thank you, teacher. Teacher, chocolates are waiting for you. Everyone who comes here has to take that. Has anybody else drawn in a different way? So, softglany x-axis, y-axis draw केल्या. Softglany angle mark केला. Direct काढला. Now teacher has gone and shaded the portion. Maybe someone has just drawn it. Now the reason why I asked you to do this was to find out how many different ways one problem can be interpreted. What was our problem? 0 asong jai, 45 asong jai, 60 asong jai, 90 asong jai. Did I say you have to mark it on the x-axis, y-axis? I didn't say. Did I say you have to mark the angle? I didn't say. So I avoided all the mathematical terms that I could. Correct? Can we apply this to keyframes now? Or 0, no? Or 45, or 60, or 90. Keyframes I apply karunga tai. How?
0, 45, 50.
Remember I had written something over here, no? That a timeline
0 to 100.
goes from 0 to 100. कितले स्टेट्स जातले हिंगा तेजो कितले वैल्यूज जातले 4. So you are going to say 25 घेऊन जाता आणि 50 घेऊन जाता. So at this level, the sequence value, yesterday तुम्ही ऐकलं असेल sequence value, sequence value, sequence value, इतले पावटी sequence value that it scared many people off. No, sequence and state was being discussed. Here it is. So as of value, inga 0 म्हणून सांगतलो. Here it will go as what will be the value? 45, 60. Stop. Clear? Anybody didn't understand this? I'll repeat it again. Because see, we require to know this first. And the paperwork. Paperwork, paperwork. This is the paperwork that I'm asking for. Can we put the flight over here? What will happen? Flight it will be halted. Then it is taking that flight. If I had given a dipping angle downwards, then it would be coming down and it comes to the halt. Does it satisfy the condition that the first state and the last state has to be equal? It does. Start 0, 0, end 19. Also, 360% value around that. Because if you know rotation is from
0 to 9.
yes. Clear in everyone's mind? आजून पासून कोडा घातला ना आणि सरांनी चॅलेंज दिले आणि सांगलं till 12 o'clock no code. So I am trying to take you through this journey how I learned without touching the code. Okay, now see what we have done, no teachers. Two things we have already understood. We have understood how to write a problem statement. I सांगलोले तुमका go rotate a square. किती करतले आम्ही तुम्ही? Individually, every teacher would have come up with different types of codes. But I told you, your rotation has to be starting from 0. Then where it has to go? 45. Then it has to go to 60 and 90 cherry on the panza. So my problem statement to you was very, very clear.
Sir.
Yes.
ते टाइमलाइन जे आसा पळय 0 25 50 100
होय
ते अशा असू शकता 0 33 66 आणि
इक्वल टायमिंगाचे तुझो लाय तो चेंज yes sir
First frame and the last frame has to be the same identical.
yes because it will rest it doesn't have to be but किती जाता in a timeline it goes through that आता flight वयर चढलो फ्लाय जालो येऊन स्टॉप झालो इट रेस्टेड देयर like that even
My question.
yes
First frame, let's say there's a picture of a dog.
yes
Last frame, I want to show the dog is sleeping.
ha
So the first picture
will change no we work towards getting the last frame to that see right now I'm talking only about rotations so rotation starts जातलो 0 चे end जातलो 360 चे no so it comes to the same position but there is no hard and fast rule की तो तिंगाव wrong जाय म्हणून एक example नु सरान सांगला म्हणून दिता तुमका smile तो कोण तो तुम्ही ड्रॉ केलो ते टेडी स्माइल इफ आई से 360 टेडीचो स्माइल किती जातलो सकल जालो सो सर्च क्वेश्चन इज व्हेरी वॅलिड आई कॅन स्टॉप एट इन बिटवीन ते तुम्ही सांगपाचे खूंय स्टॉप करपाचो इन बिटवीन सो इट इक्वली डिवाइड्स इट ऑन बोथ साइड्स गुड क्वेश्चन क्लियर Now, we have understood the problem. I know what I have worked on paper. Now we are slowly going towards code. So the first step, काल तुम्ही ऐकला असतले सर म्हणतालो contract. No, it is you write the contract. Avina. You understood, no? Can anybody tell me in simple words what is a contract? काल इतले ऐकले कॉन्ट्रॅक्टूच जावंक जाय ना ते कॉन्ट्रॅक्टा भायर वयता तुमी सांगाय म्हाका कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट कितें तो It's a certain method
Text input.
takes input, gives output. But I don't know machine view. Okay, I will scare you. What is that? Tell me that. Name of the function input output. It's osmole. कोया तुम्ही वोय म्हणला पुढे वयतो. कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट osmong ना पोतून घेऊया. बरे पोतून घ्या. Contract म्हणताय नु contract. Now when there is a contract in real life, what happens there?
Give and take.
Suppose I contract केला. हांव सोद्दा हाडून ही बॉटल 9 वरांचेर हिंग दवरतलो 5 वरांचेर घेवन घरा वयतलो. That's my contract. Every single day of my life. What can be the problem?
But it is not every day. It will be for the specific days. Not every throughout these 365 days you won't be doing that.
Won't be doing. Saturday, Sunday I सांगोंक ना. सारकें ना. So say teacher is my employer and तेन म्हाका सांगला 365 days तू येवन ही बाटली हिंग दवरतलो आनी घरा वतलो. So that means teacher I have to come on Saturdays and Sundays, no? 365 म्हणला. But if she says every day, मागीर म्हाज्यान कितें करूंक जाता? Working days म्हणोंक जाताय. Holidays not included म्हणोंक जाताय. No? Exactly. I can take only this bottle. I can't take this bottle. If I take this bottle, what will happen? Contract is broken. So my contract was to consume this bottle every day and bring it back here and keep it. Kaame chille ma. The definition of a contract is, it is a statement which mentions the domain and the range. काल सांगलेले सर कित्याक सांगू म्हणून कित्याक सांगू No teacher, the reason why it was not said in this way is it will scare people away. If I say it is a statement of range and domain, भितरली पयलींच ह्या आनी कितें काय म्हणटा domain आनी range मॅथ्सान पावले आमी आतां. Okay, contract agreement. Now I will show you one activity which will explain contract to you in the best way possible. Okay, I troubled Sai's and teacher Maya for this. Then बाबड्यांनी करून दवरलें तें तांकां होमवर्क दिला येता थिंगासर. What shape is this? Square thing. Avoid the donut inside. So मातसो ते जायना तें थिंगा आनी कांय बसना. What is this? Okay. Finally, this is a masterpiece. I had told them to make a triangle. So triangle normally legon bosang tras jata hai. So done this way. I have shown you 3 different shapes. Around 8 Legos have gone in making this. इथून मातशे सुबेज गेल्या. Okay. धर तूं without counting I'm saying 16 have gone in here, 8 have gone in here. इथून सुबेज आसतली. Will not sit and count, but I'll tell you what point I'm trying to make. Can I give you these Legos and say build this? किती जाताले? Not sufficient. Can I give you these Legos and say build this? Why? Here is where I will use the word contract. The contract of this shape says it requires 8 Legos. हांव जर तेका ते 8 Legos दिना ही shape जावची ना. Out of the contract. I can't give you these Legos and say make this for me. Input, output. So if I give you these Legos, 8 दिले जाल्यार तू square करतलो तेजे. A दिले 16 or whatever number they have, you're going to make a rectangle out of it. And finally you're going to make a triangle. So the way in which we take a contract is that the contract mentions what should be the input. That means कितले Legos घेऊन जायचे आता Legos'an किती माका बाहेर घेऊन जाय पडते. So it means that a contract is a statement of domain, that is 8 Legos, and range, which is a square. So आजचो हांव बरयतलो जाल्यार न्हू, I'll just wipe this off, teacher. So if I am writing the contract of this, contractor मी किती येऊन जाय या मनशाचे नाव. What is the domain and what is the range? आता तुका जो हे पळोवन भिरांत दिसता, if you find this is going to be very difficult for me to understand, just replace this word with input and replace this with benefit of the use of आता machine clear झाला? So once you understood your problem, what you are going to do, you have found out how you are going to do it. Now I am writing this contract. It is for our understanding, the better understanding. आता तू म्हणटले आवय भुरग्यांक आनी आता contract शिकवंक पडले. How did I bring contracts into your life now? Legos. Yet जावंक जाय म्हणना, it can be anything, it can be any activity where it mentions what should be the input and what it should give me as an output. किती येवंक जाय पळय तें. Now you help me with this, teachers. तुम्ही सांगाय म्हाका कितें करपाचें पळय तें. हेजें नांव कितें दिवया? Square. Square म्हणटा म्हणते डबल कोट सांगया कित्याक तेजें नांव. Then we put 4 dots. आता if I have to be very technical no in telling you, this is the syntax. But syntax चे उतर भुरग्यांचेर will be a little. See, you can use it once you've shown, little later part of it. What is the input to this? Lego pieces. What should it give me? Square, no? Square shape म्हणून जाता. Now let us get it more closer to the code that we are going to do. Now this code word I am using with you all because we have been doing it throughout the day that we are coming closer to. Now what I am going to do is, can we keep the name as square? Yes. Square धरून जाता, square 1 धरून जाता, square 2, big square, small square, or whatever you want as the name. I know many of us were a little confused yesterday with the naming convention. हांव ह्या आता कितें करपाचें काय हेंच नांव दवरूंक जाय तेका स्टेट्साक स्टेट्स म्हणल्यार जाता वा स्टेटू म्हणूंक जाय. We had this, and that is one of the reasons why we use camel casing. I use करूंक ना because I'm writing. Maybe when I'm doing it in Kojo I will use. It just helps you to join 2 names. Camel casing. Okay. Now we'll keep the name as square. 8 Legos high. आता इनपुट कसो कसो दिवया. A इटली गो flashback. What to that activity that we did? Every time you told me something is changing. Something is changing. If that something had to be a quantity, तो number जावचो ना हलो एक. Speed करूया, speed आली. Zero आली. Take off जाताना किती जातले आले तेका? It will increase. Speed is a number. Generally speaking, when we take it as an input, it is going to be a number. वयर चडटा आता. तीच स्पीड आसतली. देंवता. Comes to a halt. Start जाल्ले 0, end जाल्ले 316. You're getting what sense I'm trying to make here now? So, this will be a number. सगळ्यांनी कोजन स्क्वेअर काढला. कितले इनपुट होता तेका? स्क्वेअर एकूच होता? दोन इनपुट. होय, we consider it as a rectangle and then we give it two numbers which are equal, no? There's one equal दिना जाल्यार कितें जाता? ती shape change जाता. It may be a rectangle then or it becomes something else, whatever the number. So every time a square takes two numbers. Screen is here कितना कोईता तो तुका माहिती. Does it show a number? Does it add two numbers and show you a number then? If I say, suppose nu inga 100 गायलो and inga 100 गायलो, does it show me a number then of 200? What does it show? Picture. Shape म्हणजे shape. When you take it to Kojo, it becomes a or drawing. I mean drawing म्हणताय in our language. When you take it there, it is of type picture, no? Clear till here? In this, I have covered data types. तुमकां हांवें कितें सांगलें? Data type म्हणजे. Did I use the word data type anywhere? If I have to call this a contract, number दिता तेन्ना आमी कसलो type लायता तेका? We call it a double, no? Double म्हणून सांगता. So what you do is एका कार्ड घेवचो. Contract is ready. Simple. आज कॉन्ट्रॅक्टाची बिलां दिसता. Now this has to be done, teachers, before writing the function. हे तुझे वर्किंग, you're working out. आमकां कितें जालें न्हू, स्क्वेअर म्हणल्यार परत तो रेक्टेंगल आनी तेका ते दोन हे either we put that's rotated, that's translated or that's scaled and हम काबार. No, that's how. It's not anybody's fault. I'm not demeaning anyone. I'm just trying to tell you, if you emphasize on code, that आमचे emphasis मातशें कोडार जालें पयलेंच. Now we are coming slowly to paperwork. So when I ask for paperwork now to draw a square, what are you going to give me? किती दितोली तुम्ही? You'll have to give me this, like how you worked it out, and that drawing which teacher Pallavi showed us, no? So on that x-axis and y-axis, and that square is drawn. How would this benefit teachers? How would it benefit you?
Sir, that means when we put number, we are getting picture.
Yes. आता सारखी सोजमली टीचर. Exactly the point that I was trying to make. That you're giving double input, and what I get is a picture. आता वो contract. माझ्या निघा तेकडे नंबर मागवून जाय ना. I can't tell this function, give me a number back. It will give you a picture because that is the type of it. Understood? Same thing you asked me, 365 days do you kottalo? Boroille ha contractan. Echa contractan boroille ha the picture kotte ditalo. Kandika picture kotte.
So,
Yes.
on day one we had done this activity. Okay, actually we had done it, but once we know it now, then what we think is that
I can do it again. Yeah.
Yes.
No, but what I'm trying to show, teacher, here is the way in which you could work it out.
Yeah.
Every year,
Even on the graph paper, no, the
Yes.
drawings were done and the contract besides that, everything we had covered nicely.
Yeah.
But there were some things which were not clear.
Yeah. One thing, teacher, I will tell you. Jenna tu or procedure follow kottano, like how teacher Pallavi say, every single time, there will be one question that you are solving. Kite ek tuka adi clear jangna alena, when you're drawing it gets clear. Ball bouncing, simple activity. 4 itoni kottalo zala kashi dakhowchi padli. On 4 things you want to show, 4 states of ball bouncing. How do you show it? Yeah, initially you will show the ball over here. Magir 25 achir tum gode bowling paula mun dakhowitalo. So how does it benefit me to draw this on the graph paper? Kite benefit atol deso maka? You're going to get the exact coordinate where in my second state the ball has to be. And then when I bounce it here, sokol paolo ground up tengta, it will give you an idea that the ball is now touching what?
Ground.
Yes, the x-axis. No? And then it moves. I am not teaching you, teachers, how to code here. What I am just trying to tell you is how do you get to different stages before you start code. Like how teachers say, yes, ek part to ji practice sali, then you start feeling a little more comfortable. And to get that comfort, we need to go through this. This is yours. And for my benefit, I'm going to do this.
It's a
Like how?
process.
Yes, teacher?
It's a process.
Yes. I started with that, I'm just going to share information on the process, Mandala. Because I know in Kojo you can work wonders. And believe me, teachers, when I see your work, I'm actually astonished to see it. The way teachers do it is amazing, amazing. Teacher Maya had shown me few of the homeworks. Kai bari bashin kela ganantu. I can't imagine, like they put colors for those, that bird. Then bird barandista. And colors also, how they have actually matched the background with that it looks good. See, that creativity is yours. आता ती जो राव दुसऱ्याक शिकयतालो दुसऱ्याक दाखयतालो जाल्यार this is the process. If you are comfortable in doing it without, fine. But you are going to teach this to somebody else, once you do that. So तू ज्या प्रोसेसान गेला तो प्रोसेस ताका दाखोवचो पडलो. हे आता तुम्ही कित्याक बिलीव जातले हांव सांगता म्हणून? या टीचर, यू आर बिलीविंग मी बिकॉज आय एम टेलिंग यू. Talbot is saying yes. तू सांगता जाले. It is not my कितें म्हणटलो, this is not come from me. I'm not this brilliant. There is a curriculum online. It is called bootstrap.world. Bootstrapworld.com. It's org, no? org is the Bootstrap. Bootstrap world. If you Google for Bootstrap world, it will come up the first thing. Bootstrap. At तुम तिकोस ना काय? आवड Etolo time. Tinga was Don't go there, right? No, why I'm saying this is their curriculum is based on this idea. They don't teach code. Computer science the curriculum. But this is the pattern in which they go. There is more to this. I have picked up only things which would be beneficial for teachers to understand the topic. And one good thing that they have there is they have given everybody an worksheet. एक worksheet गायले हाने side. सो हें तुवें वाचलें तें वर्कशीट वचून चल. Done. I don't know. Awkward silence question. Understood, no, teachers?
Yes.
It's not that case, no? Half say yes, half say no. Everyone say yes. No, full yes. Even if there is one person who's not understood, no, teachers, please tell. We'll do it again. दुसऱ्यांक बडे मातसो बेजार येतलो. पोत्तून explain करता. But I don't mind till everyone here gets this. Because this will be very, very beneficial when it comes to animation. Do you have questions? On your books, what I want you to do is write the contract for this function. Don't ask me any questions.
Red.
Triangle, 50, solid, red. Dita, it's a question. What does it give me? You have to write the contract first. Write the contract. Contract बरोवपाक 2 मार्क आहे. Help me write this now. मैं कितने करपाचे? Into बरेल्या जाता, double बरेल्या जाता. For your understanding, now can I tell the student ना integerच घाल? डबल घालून पळयता. डिफरन्स कितें जातले? थिंगासोर नंबर दिवचो पडटा. In double you are supposed to put 0.0.
Decimal.
It becomes a double. जाले. शेख तुम्ही सारखी अटेंटिव्ह आहे हा. The moment I wrote double teacher, दोन no. Good, right. Next, you tell me. String. Character गायला किती जातले? Character single character, no. But if you see, this has many characters, no. This word has many characters. So we will put मागीर कितें जातले?
Color.
कलराचा डेटा टाइप आहा.
Color dot.
What do you see here? Red. Red is an English word. What does it denote? It denotes a color. So what I am going to do is, this is still going to be a मातशे कोजो कडे वचना काय आतांचा प्लीज. I have not opened Kojo still. I'm thinking, I'm working out. Don't go to Kojo right now. Now what does it give me?
picture.
Sarke? Does anybody think otherwise? What do you think, teacher? Picture ditalo? Na, kite ditalo? This when I execute, no? This when I execute, does this. And take a red color as well. So what is that? Picture, no? That's a picture.
So how it is taking one figure double and giving you
Triangle.
This is the size of it, teacher. So 15. I'm coming. Wait. Ashira, one question I will ask. Has everyone understood the contract now? No? Question?
that string and string.
Yes.
Solid also we write string.
Yes. It's a word, no?
Also we write string.
Yes. Don't separate arguments with them. Solid is a word, no? And red is also a word. So when you're giving someone a word, it will be a string, no? Number dita suppose amunta size 10. It will be a double or a integer, no? Now the contract of this triangle says teka 3 vastu jayed. You have to give it the number which will be considered as the size. You have to give it an argument which says solid. Solid munche it will be a whole thing. And finally the color should be red. So the 3 vastu jay. And what it gives me is a picture. This instruction is not even Kojo teachers. It's something called a Scala. That's the language. आता तुमका किती सांगूंक सोदता that even if you are not doing Kojo, you can still write and practice contracts even on a language which is different. So emphasis here is in learning this by heart or knowing this to be sangema. Where will you emphasize more? On knowing the contract, no? Suppose if I display this and I tell you to write this, you'll be able to write. Instead of red, I can put yellow. Solid, I don't know what is the other thing. Did you remember solid? Fill. Sorry? It is a fill, yeah. No, but any other argument, can't remember.
Transparent. Opaque.
What?
Texture.
See that the reason why I'm spending so much of time on contracts is for you to understand that is the process of writing first and then going into functions. You have a question, Richa?
When we say 50,
Yes.
solid and red,
Yes.
can we remove that solid and can we just say red? Because when we fill something with red, it becomes solid by default.
The contract of a triangle says it requires 3 things. So I have to give these 3 here.
What if we don't give the
So
solid?
otherwise,
If I don't give-
HSL.
Yes.
Right there, HSL.
Pardon?
Solid as the HSL.
Now, let's not go into that, teacher. We are not learning syntax. See, the question you are asking is, if I can make changes over here, I cannot.
Simple language.
I am not changing the contract of this. There's a contract सांगता तेका 3 input दिवंक जाय. ते 3 input दिल्या तो चलतलो. Your question is, what if I remove solid? It will give an error. Straight.
That is the fix. When you express that,
Yes.
She is saying we will give contract of only 2. So it will be a red.
See, किती म्हणता जाणा तू?
So it is the syntax of triangle in Scala.
Yes.
So that's why.
So if you make any changes over here, it will give you an error. Colin. So there's a contract म्हणता आपल्या 3 input जाय.
in other words, it's how it is defined, how it is
Yes.
We can define it as per our choice.
So it is language independent. खंयचेय लँग्वेजीन बरोवंक जाता. म्हणजे you can write it for Kojo, you can write it for Scala, you can write it for anything. What you need to know is what it is going to consume, that's my domain, and what it is going to give me, that's my. And ये कितना important कोजोन, we will come to it when we are coding. Question?
I don't want to fill that triangle.
If you don't want to fill that triangle, then there will be some other argument over here. Now I can't get it whether it is transparent or scala so I am not going to but then yes, color will change.
कोड बरयता जाल्यार कसो जातलो लेफ्ट ट्रायंगल जातलें.
Don't go to coding teaching here. This is scala. So two other triangles or if you are writing in Kojo, how you are going to do it? For that, we'll go now to code.
Sir,
Yes.
for Scala and Kojo, both are giving means drawing the shape in terms of picture only.
Yes.
That's why you have written picture.
Yes. See, the reason why I put a picture over here is this is what it will take, and this is what it will give you. Clear? Okay.
The triangle is the function, no?
Yeah, name of the function. Name of the function. What is the name of the function? Mike, किती क्वेश्चन पढ़ले? Next. Double घालचो, integer घालचो. आता किती करूया? The choice is yours. You can either put an integer because see what it requires a number. 3.5 म्हणला थिंगा. Double घायलो जाल्यार wrong जातलो. Because double will still accept. Okay. Suppose I had just done this to you like this. आणि एका म्हणलो म्हाका हो जाय. Then I want this. Then you had to put a double because it's mentioned there. Right now I didn't mention, so you can. I'll use a double only. Then double because you're taking 2. It should give me what? A picture? It will give me a double now. कोजोले रेक्टेंगल फंक्शन घेतले जाल्यार कितें जातलें rectangles. What are the inputs that we give? Double. What should it give me? That is the understanding behind writing a contract. So contracts are in line to write the function. Then tu jana, you write the function.
So we don't require operators then? Add is enough?
This is it an instruction in Kojo? No. It's some other language. So तुमका कॉल है तो किती कोत्तलो तो? Do I need to mention the sign over here? No. That will go in the body of the function. ते मागीर थिंगा जातले. Hold on. Right now I'm just making sure that I know what is my domain, what is my range.
So my left आणि picture करता आणि right आणि picture.
There are some contracts which require to be given a picture, we'll give you out a picture. We'll come to that. Then maka Naushil sirane to question inshallah. We'll do it on the screen, and as we do it you can ask us. Patle something. It's a clear. Now you know why I linked this to that. What was the reason? एक कित्याक दाखोवचें पडलें म्हाका टू शो यू वॉट इज द इनपुट. हांवें आतां तुमी डोमेन आनी रेंज म्हणून सोमतो चेंज वोकॅब्युलरी डोमेन आनी रेंज. भुरग्यांक म्हणशे आयकता वॉट इज द डोमेन, टेल मी वॉट इज द डोमेन. गुरू वॉट इज दिस डोमेन? बट सी टिचर्स, नाव ऑन द फर्स्ट डे इफ आई हैड सेड डोमेन रेंज तुमी भितरली आसली. But by the third day, now you're already speaking the language. This same thing will happen to our students. So if I show this code directly, सायन कॉस म्हणलें आनी तांकां सांगलें मॅथ्स म्हणटा तें सारकें इम्पॉर्टंट ना तुजें दिता म्हणून you're going to scare them off first only. And I know it because I struggled when I was learning math. I struggled. I can openly say that. But with Bootstrap, with all these methods, with Desmos, a little bit of understanding has come in. I learnt a lot from Desmos. And it is, you can apply it on kai rules nahi. Whatever you feel of doing. I took a lot of help from teacher Maya, Sir Jaivan. Sir Jaivan is really good with Desmos. So, help, and you know, see, that's the reason why, you know, teachers, I say collaborate. Collaboration kenna jang jai, no, not with code. Code dakoi directly na. Working dakoi, fine. I will explain how I have done. And that is the way your knowledge will be transferred to that other person who's with you. And it gives it a kind of comfort level at that, okay, now even I know it. Okay, so activities like these help. Legos are something very, very common, and to use them also can do this. Okay, now say, माझी challenge आली 3 मिनिटं आहे challenge. 1 minute. माझी watch party ना. So I have fulfilled my objective of not giving you code for the first 2 hours. Now tell me, teachers, now since in this one moment, 1 minute that I have, let me take that little feedback from you. How do you feel now? So what I want to know is, what is the change that you were there here in the morning and in these 2 hours? Sorry? Out of the confusion state.
Before you were out of range.
Out of range, contract, माझो contract extend जायत. You said there was confusion. Very good. Out of range. हे म्हणून देखून बरं दिसता. Range. मस्त range दियो. What else?
In the domain.
In the domain. Right? That means I was here, a little confused, didn't know what to do. Little bit here and there. Okay, you were in the domain. Now everyone is speaking the language. I would be surprised if someone says, changed my state from confusion. Anything else, teachers? See, this feedback of yours is very important to us. And the reason why I am saying this is, we have changed the way we have done our sessions looking at this feedback from. On the first day, you all said, Teacher Maya, सगळ्यांनी feedback दिलो, आमकां आनीक मातसो time जाय, सारकें. We have already given the feedback to sir, and we are thinking about giving more time now. Teacher Maya आनीक मातशें preparation करून आनीक examples हाडून तुमचे मुखार दवरचे पडटले. Ready to do that. So it is that you know, when we get something from you, we work on that and we come back. Now yesterday you all had a lot of difficulties in understanding. Now it had got nothing to do with the way of delivery. It's the general delivery that you do. पूण कितें जालें पयलोच हाडून तुका भिवयलो. See, this is what your students will feel if you start with code. हें तुमीच सांगलां म्हाका आतां हांवें बोर्डार घातला. This has come from you. So if I'm going to scare people away, then show them the code. I was just thinking, I mean, noise bakutay, तेन्ना कितें सांगताय तेंकां. You can't say punish because it is getting recorded. मागीर आतां तेंकां हें करूंक लागता. Go write the code. Write for square rotation and complete it. कोणाचो आवाज जावपा ना मागीर. If for wonder and notice and wonder I 5 marks, 6 marks दवरलेले जाल्यार तुमी कितें करतले आसली? Answer तोच वाडयतली आसली. See, that also plays on the mind of a student. The moment we equate it to marks, start. So we have to be so careful in conveying these concepts, because teachers, this is something the students have never seen in their life. So how I am giving you time, see, today, I'm like, sarke sokol san start kore. We go from that level of where you start building to moving on. That's how it has to convey to your students also. Firstly, you will be conveying teaching something. Then from there, it has to go to your schools, to students, which seems like that same journey. It will have that takeoff, cruising altitude, down and down into the school. Okay? So now the next target for us is in this 1 hour, 1 o'clock lunch, no teacher, 1 hour, we will start with how a timeline works. आतापासून कोडा घातलाय ना. Before even I go there, I still want to use the board. Okay? Let's break that code down now. तो code aha तो बिरान दिसता तेका आता मातसो सकल काडया. We'll break it down into smaller things. And if you break it down, no, that code which we have, here is the code. आता हो I'm pass केला तुम्ही कितपत कॉपी करची नाही. तो विचार दिसता तसो मारया. I will ensure, no teachers, that at the end of this session or at the end of this code, all of you are comfortable with the code. Now I'll tell you what are the problems that we are facing when it comes to code. How many of us here feel the difficulty level in syntax? Raise your hands. I will raise mine also. I have a difficulty with syntax. Those or code maja atin na, forget it. Most of us, no? Most of us have this issue with syntax. How do I remember all these things? Correct? And that is what is making us teachers take those pictures. It is not a wrong thing to do. 10 years आधी जो तुमच्या स्कूलाने असो कोड पास केलो कितली जाणा फोटो काडले अलाउड कोणी आले फोटो मारपाक टीचर गोमटी पिट्टोली आली सगळी फोन बाहेर काढलेलो जाल्यार सो व्हॉट इज द अदर वे राउंड is to use pen and paper. Are we doing that now? Yes. Today I have become a little more confident in using that pen and paper. Correct, no? First day teacher Maya an assignment धाडलो तुमका सांगले पेपर वर्क धाडाय. कितल्या जाणांक दिसलेले हे धाडूंक जाय म्हणून पेपर वर्क कितें धाडले आमी we sent the final output, which is not wrong, teachers to do. It is not wrong. But if I had to give that and say baba एजेर कितें हा तेंचो रे, what would the other person understand? It would be like this is the image and then ती थिंगा केलें काबार. So did you know the process which went through there? ते curve कशें bend जालें, and there was one smart thing that teacher did for that one. She left the points for your points दवरलेले तेणी for you to make it a little more easier that here is where it turns. Okay, so that was also done with a thought, teachers. Okay, now if I look at this code, okay, ready, no, everyone? Yes. In the next one, see. It's a question solve. Sir, there was a question asked, outline any solid. So that second attribute which was there, solid म्हणता तो त्याचो दुसरो attribute can be outline. Just the outline. And the other one was which we wrote was solid, which has that color inside. Okay, so this, if I have to make it into a variable, now this is the style of that triangle. The third thing is color. But with this or without this, did you understand how to go ahead with the contract? Contract was molon, paso boropato.
Sir,
Okay.
if you go ahead, and the last three, red color which you have put, what it will be? If you put that color here.
Outline and तो outline color red होता तो color solid म्हणजे कोणचा पडला इधर क्वेश्चन पूछा उधर से आंसर आया काय करू टीचरने सॉल्व करून आणला व्हेरी नाइस Now let's solve this together. आता contract किती जातो हे तुम्ही मला सांगता you just write this. If you want, you can write it. It's an isosceles triangle. I say short kela to just show you that the name could be anything of that function. So, barabar baro ya. Now I'll give you 1 minute first. Okay? So examining question galunga tha. Function di contract kite. Double or integer if you want because it's a single number. Now, on purpose I have used outline instead of solid just to ensure that you understand both. Okay? So, inga kite etole ada? Can I say character over here?
No.
Character is single character. No? What will it give us? Done, teachers? So now if I throw any function at you, you'll be able to write the contract. So that was the objective of this exercise. Now let's go to keyframes and animation. Now for this part of VR, what we are going to do is, let us consider that I have a square which needs to be rotated. to be rotated. To start off anything in animation, what is the basic thing that you require first? It is don't even go to states. You require a picture. Now you know why that was picture. किधर कमी first किधर draw करते हैं? Square काटता है, or you'll do a rectangle, or you'll do a circle, which is of the type. That picture I am going to use throughout my. So first, what I require is a basic shape. It can be a square, rectangle, whatever shape. Bunny datalo. Bunny tata. But bunny kadpa kide koche porde poile. You'll have to break it down first, no? The bunny's head, bunny's stomach, bunny's hand, bunny's leg. They all separate karo pick stack koche porta. Does it help if you keep only 2 pictures in the pick stack? If you see, no, pairs hai amka sogle. Your eyes are in a pair. So if you draw one, you can draw the other. Make a pick stack. Hands are 2. You make a hand. Ani ek haath chalo. Paaye tashe jate. Nose and mouth could be taken together in one pick stack. Okay. So first thing I require is a basic shape. Second thing. Now this is not for all. One size fit all. No. I'm just trying to explain to you this, what we are going to start first. So this square आता म्हाका गुणायतलो जाल्यार कितें करचें पडलें? एंगल दिवचें पडलें ताका. ताका नांव कितें दिवया? Animated shape, animated square, animated shape 1. जाय तें नांव घाल. Why do we stick to animated square? कित्याक घालताय तशें नांव? So that I know, yes. And I'll come to one important part later on which most of us have difficulties in. So we have a animated shape or square.
Square.
You can name it the way you want. आणि ओ मनीस म्हणटा तो will take some input. Will take something from you. How will it animate? Rotate.
It will rotate.
That's rotated म्हणटली तुमी ताका. होय. नाल्यार स्पीकिंग. कोण जाय पडलो, एंगल जाय पडलो एकलो. पण that's rotated जाय पडलो. हे दोग जाण जाय. Then comes our, what should I say, you know, that what we've been learning from morning, that will be introduced over here, which is keyframes. What are keyframes? Can I say it is a state? State. State 0 आलो तेन्ना or that. State 25 जालो or that. State 50 जालो or that. State 100 जालो बंद कर काबार. Okay? So if I have to say, what will this keyframe take? Does it take anything from us? कितें मागता तो? कितें जाय ताका? Are we giving input? Think about it, huh? Keyframe. Are we giving him input? What is the input? Correct. तो input आहा ताका mark. अजून पासून म्हाका खबर ना. Anybody knows for sure? Not yet, no? We have not reached that point. And finally, I have a timeline. Correct? This is where my story ends, in that timeline. What will my timeline take now from me? कितें दिवचें पडलें ताका? टायमूच दिवचो पडलो? हिंगा कितें केल्लें आमी नौशील सराक दाबोलीमसान मोपा धाडटाना कितें धाडलेलें? State will be going in here. State scaling.
Range.
एकाच वर कांय दिवपाचे ना
Range.
जाल्यार हो की फ्रेम आनी कित्याक जावं
Different steps from 0 to 25.
Duration and what the frame.
all your duration, everything is going in here. सारखे म्हणजे उमक्या टायमार 0 चेर
Number
कशें
of keyframes.
I am going to take this key frame and तीच हांवें पास करता आतां तेका.
Yeah.
So that becomes your number of keyframes, it becomes your timing, it becomes your state. सगळें थिंगाच ना. Don't confuse anything else for now. काय आणि apply करू नाका हितून. Let's go in this step by step manner. So to animate a shape, I basically need to start off with a basic shape. मागीर I'll have to think on how I'm going to now कितें करचें पडलें तेका. If my square, from here was moving here, from here, here, and going back. तेक rotated म्हणून जाता. तें कितें जातलें? Translate जालें. Square आहा तो बारीक जाता, व्हडलो जाता. बारीक जाता, व्हडलो जाता. Scaled. And if that square is rotating like a wheel, so what I'm trying to break down, teachers, to you is first we look at what is required. किती जाय पहिले. What is that? Input. Input किती म्हणताय? शिकले तुम्ही. And then what that domain is going to give me out. Finally, what do I require here? My animation should work. जे implied thing वयर सोल्लोले ते in पावंक जाय काबार सांगले मॅजिस्टिक. So when I name this state or whatever I'm passing here, I can call it state. I can call it states. I can call it state 0, state 1. हे जातले माझे values. I'm giving numbers. Clear? Finally, when my keyframes are ready, I'm going to pass it on to my timeline. And timeline will take care of the animation. So basically, थोडे animation and all steps combine that. And you come to know why I'm saying that this combines, but this is required. You have to have a keyframe, and you have to have a timeline. काल सरान कितें cover केल्लें वो है zone. No? पढ़ा था इधर से. काल सरान cover केले. How will you find the difference between a transition and a timeline? If they both are same, then why are we learning both? Time waste सा दोनों. So to find that, now let's go back to code. I want everyone to open आमचे Kojo. Just try and put a transition. आणि मागीर कितें करायचें न्हू आयकाय पयलें आयकाय. Everyone is listening to me? Yes. Define DEF transition equal to मैं transition म्हणून येता दुसरे साइडीन. Press control space options येतली. Take transition from that. Sokolos same type code but for timeline. I'll do it also. I will put it up on the board. For in that meantime, you start as well. See, this is what I wanted. इतल्याकूच पासून जावंक जाय आसलें तें. Don't add anything more. Don't confuse yourself. Nothing. Just till here. Do we have to remember all this? How do you get it? Control space mallo eta. Sometimes it doesn't come. So what is the problem there? Sometimes no, केन्ना आमी डेस्क रोटेटेड घालूंक वयता आनी तें मारल्या बरें येयना तो. Not correct means what? That it is not in the contract of that function. That is where your contracts are important. Now what we covered? Please listen, teachers. Right now I'm not asking you to code anything. Don't code anything. Extra galum degunos naka. Later on you can show your creativity once this is complete. Then I will leave it to you. Right now, the concept that was covered yesterday was something called as transition, which is over here. Okay? So, what are the arguments it takes? Duration in seconds would like time. How long the transition has to last and then die. State from state initial state. Very good. To state final state. Ether muttakon. Have you tried ethers? Which ones have you tried? Linear half, bounce in, bounce out. If you have not tried, don't worry. Not rocket science. It's okay. Till now, in what we are doing, we require only linear. If you want to see how the others affect, then you can go there and check. And finally, there is hide on done. There's a purpose.
Pick maker.
Pick maker. Sorry. Start on. What is pick maker?
Name of the picture.
What you have to? Inga notice ani wonder lagta. A sogla information astale amkode. You can change this. When it comes here, the function is asking you, I want to do a transition. How? How do I do it? So what is your answer to that? I am going to give you a picture around it all. So somewhere here. I'm only trying to tell you now how the keyframes and timelines are different from transitions, what was done yesterday. And at the end of this, you will see that whatever you did in transitions yesterday, everything can be translated to keyframes and timelines. Can be done. Now let's go to timeline. Timeline kite magta tu bade? What is the first thing it requires? Duration. Keyframes. Who will give the keyframes? I will have to do it, you know. So if we type keyframes here, kite aata? इतले सांगता तो फ्रेम्स ती म्हणून आता फ्रेम्स हुंयचे हाडपाचे in the morning did we have frames anywhere? We had 5, no? Start to finish. So all that information is going to go here in the frames. How to do it? I will show. But for you need to know that keyframes where my animation is going to change go in here in the keyframes. That information goes here. See again you have a easer over here. What is the pick maker?
Name of the maker. Name of the
Whichever picture you are taking, and finally if you want to hide on once it's done. Now, can anybody tell me what is the difference between transition and timeline? Code na sagale
Timeline and keyframes in the package.
Timeline and keyframes घेवपाचे. Okay.
Everything is
Why? And what is the difference? See, the reason why I don't ask you to start with laptops is your start code.
Sir,
I have not even started here. I am just, you know, taking you through. And you know one thing I'll tell you, teachers. With this habit of ours, no, we are losing out on teachers who don't understand. There's one drawback of completing first. भुरग्यां आसताय न्हू, जाले sir, जाले म्हणटी येताय. What happens is your life, then you're concentrating on this child who's already finished and you're thinking, अरे आता कित दिवपाचें? The others lose out. And the reason why I have taken this very slowly today is because I don't want anybody left out today. So codes, to me, creativity in Mahir, I have no doubt on that. But if you don't know the difference between a transition and a timeline, then you don't know which tool to use. If you're going for a war, what will you take along? Weapons. Fruits घेऊन गेला जाता? त्याचे मागतलो आणि जिंकतलो म्हणून no. So if you don't know the difference between transition and timeline, finished. Now the major difference between a transition and a timeline is that the transition flows from its first state to the last state. तो कोणाक कांयच विचारना मोदी कितें जाय पळय तें. तेका जर तुवें सांगलें 0 चेर स्टार्ट कर, 180 चेर कवर कर, तो थिंग स्टार्ट करतलो इंगून कवर. You have no control over individual frames in the middle. It will directly give those values. The states will be given of whatever you mentioned at the beginning and at the end. If I say states from 0 to 10, it will give all 10 states and finished. Suppose at the 5th state, I want my triangle with, square which is rotating to stop for 1 second. And then continue. Can you do that using a transition?
No.
You won't be able to, because transition starts at a particular state and ends at one. Finished. Doesn't wait for your input. Fixed. 0 to 360 गायले तो 360 करून cover करतो. The difference here is you have something called as keyframes over here. And in the keyframes, I can say maybe from 0 to 50, rotate 100. From 50 to 75, ani fast kurnache. Give it 200. And as it gradually reaches 360, slow it down. So what it does is it gives you more control over your frames. Got it? So that is the difference between using transitions and using keyframes of time, wherein you are getting a little bit to control what goes where. Once we do it in code, it will be more clear to you. Alright? So, teachers, if we give you this, would you be able to put inputs to it? Suppose I एक file केली आणि हेच दिले तुमका काढले. Would you be able to put inputs to it? Yes or no? तुम्ही नो अशें करताय. पण आता ते हांव नको. It's like it can be yes sometimes. तू म्हणता जाल्यार नोय म्हणया.
in transition we can put in timeline.
Yes, you will be able to. And this concept of ours is called a starter file. तुमका कालसान सांगताय न्हू. Starter file मेवतली, starter file मेवतली. In the starter file, whatever functions you require will already be there. तुवें फकत जाण सांग जाय what to change. If I want my timeline or my animation to work for 10 seconds, what will I change there? The duration ha te 10 करतलो. If I want a bouncing effect, like the square should fall, then जावन पत्तें. कितें change करतलो? Easier change करतलो. Don't you think this will help students who are struggling with syntax? It will help, no? Because it's already there. I just need to make changes to that. Smile, budasa tumka Anay sir dakhvelo. What did Anay sir give us? He gave the code for smile directly, no? पहिला तुम्ही. It was put up over here, no? Then it was divided by 2 and all. Do I need to actually go into details of how that is going to work, or just pick it up and use it in my code? तूं भुरग्याक जर तें एक्सप्लेन करूंक गेलो हाव that divide by 2 works and 90 degrees angle, they'll be saying what is the difference between sitting in a maths class and coming for my computer class. But say they come to a comfort level of 10 classes, then can I speak to them in that language? Yes. आता तुम्ही आयज कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट उलयताय, कोण डोमेन म्हणटा, कोण रेंज म्हणटा, काल म्हणटाली. It's not that I have taught you in a better way or anything else. It is just the amount of practice you all have gone through. And now I'll show you that this code requires 2 more functions and animation start. खंयची तीन दोन तुम्ही सांगायला म्हाका?
Basic shapes.
Keyframe ही already येईल. Timeline म्हणटा तो already हा. Now I can't have transition and timeline in the same year. You'll have to do it a little differently. Okay, so 20 minutes on code Korea. Okay, in 20 minutes I will code it, I will also explain it, and तुमका सोजमोले बघून हांव लंचाक वचपाना. You can go, I will stay. Okay, बरें, let's start. एक काम करूया तुम्ही आता. At least start with the basic shape on top. That you all can do. Basic shape ke animated to the square card, ready to. More than that, we go together. In it on those bases where it says e basic shape zali, ye animated zale. Animate kotalo zalar we have to give it one variable. No, every time it's going to change. So that is that state that we are giving. Every time. So the state change जायत रावतली and तशें the animation change. Were there states in the activity we did? In states ahle? Yes, no. There was that flight. Then suddenly it was going up. Then it went to cruising altitude, descending, and then stopped. Keyframes are given this way. Now you can have your choice over here. You can divide it into 4, like how sir said, 33 करून जाता, मागीर you divide by 4, or you take it at 5. The meaning of this is it is going to start at 0, end at 360. That's the set starting point, and the ending point is the same. And तेका लागून हांवें म्हणलेलें तें that it has to end at the last position. So let's go back here. First, we draw the basic shape. Now you know why this is important. Galla jale kite jatalo shape byline guntuli. This brings it to the center. Okay? So my first task is achieved. Basic shape. Second thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an animated square now. I can name it anywhere. Anyway, animated shape manaun jata, animated square manaun jata. Here I am going to give it a state as the input. Why are we giving this input as state? And where is it coming from? From where you think it's coming?
From the keyframe.
It is coming from my keyframes. What will be the first value of state 0? How do you know it is 0? Teachers, listen, the sequence how it works. Your errors and the code not working is, you can sort it out, not a problem. So the first value that will be passed to this state 0 is 0. What is the last value? आणि ताच्या मदी तुका हुंय changes जाय ते तू हिंगा घालता. That means when I reach 50%, I want to give it a value of 60. Remember, I तुमका थिंगा draw करूंक लायले. First state should be 0, second should be 45, third should be 60, and fourth one is. Now, since the animation has to stop at 360, I have added this last one. And if you remove this 100, no, and if you just this it off, comment it off, you will get an error saying that a keyframe has to end at 100. Can't end in it. So 0 to 100, the flight went up and went up. Modi changes zali the maje. And finally, if you look there, We are doing the timeline. Timeline and now the animation, which I will run in the end. Do I need to remember this? No. It's coming from that control plus space. Tap करने दो.
Sir,
Yes.
keyframe color, the sequence.
Galun पर teacher. Yeah. You go faster. Zip करो चलो. So to slow it down, sir was asking me a nice question. He said, what if I want to make more changes to it? You add more keyframes. पण तो तितलो time घेतलो मागीर ते करपाक.
But we can change the duration at the.
Yes.
हे sequence आम्ही आत करची पडटली.
म्हणजे
Frames असतात ते आम्ही करतात.
होय.
Frames फ्रेम्स
After that, the second.
Should I keep this common for all? I can change also, no? Maka suppose आता एक करून जाय where I want it at 50% to go to 100. 50% झाला मग मला 100 value धाडूंक जावो. If I do this and if I do, it still works. Now it's doing that to the bounce out. So at 75 it will just rotate back to 90 and start again. So if you want to make something come in front, go back, come in front, go back. Yeah, so you give it 100 and then take it back to 50, give it 100 again, you take it back to 50. That is your control. That is where you play around. Syntax तुकडाच धरूंक नाका हिंगासर. Or code by heart, बाबा हे सगळे कशे घालपाचे, not required. All I need to do is relate this there. And here relate करताना for sure you all are going to relate contracts also. Teacher's easing was not working. ती म्हाका सांगता contract सारको ना म्हणजे कित्याक comma घालूंक ना. So in between the arguments we give commas, no? That is the contract of that function. So if I suppose remove one out of these things here, will it work? No. Why? Because the contract says now you know why contract is really important. If I know the contract, I know the function. I mean, I have taken you first to the code and then taken you to link it to that contract. All are with me? Okay. Now for this session, listen at me. For this part of the session, we are not going to do more of talking. So right now, I'll show you one activity that we need to achieve. Don't dive directly into the code. It length sangta. Okay? And there was one question that was being asked by 3 teachers. Very, very relevant question. Pallavi asked me, Sir Naushil asked me, and Sir, your name? So see, all 3 of them have asked me the same question. That is related over here now. See, till now, whatever we have done here, कितले states घेतले आम्ही? एकूच state 0 धाडला आणि मागीर ते values आमचे keyframeान असोत हाय ते. Correct? Now, I will show you an output on the screen first. पहिले कितें करा जाणा तुम? Find out what is happening. What is the problem there? Rotate जाता तो, translate जाता, shape, basic shape कितें ती पयली? Find that out. Write it down. And if you can, at least don't states that you draw करे. At least 2. So that you know that if I look at this state or this keyframe and another keyframe, is there a difference between the 2? Don't dive into the code first only. Make it a habit first. Code, it's not a big issue to be worried about. What we did in the afternoon just before lunch, did everyone get it? Maybe there were errors, maybe here and there a comma missing. That is the syntax part of it. Okay? For this challenge, remember, I'll give you a clue now. There are 2 things happening. Poile challenging एकूतच जाता. In this challenge, two things are happening together. So from morning what we did, notice, wonder, सगळे जाता तशें follow करूं. At that moment, don't take anybody's help when you're doing your paperwork. Paperwork and to stuck zalo, then you can take someone's help. Again, I would say attempt it on your own first. Okay? And then last step is code. Sarko last. Prior to that, all these are to be followed. Okay? Now, since the functions were already shown to you, right now you don't need to write the contract as of now. Because already function dille ha. Contract kenna borete then before writing the function. Now, right now it's already given. But teacher had a request. She said, let's discuss that also. So once this activity is done, there's a contract poya. If we are on the same track as we were in the afternoon, in the morning. Okay? So I'll show you the output right now. Okay, let's start. Now remember, there's nothing right, nothing wrong. Whatever you have noticed, you tell. Whatever you wonder, we'll see. Till now, there was no discussion. अजूनपासून तुमका discuss करून आले. I have just told you to do your individual activity, that is notice and wonder. Now, what did you notice? So there is a square somewhere from the center. Eighth standard क्लासीन आम्ही गेली. Growing and shrinking म्हणलं तेंका कितें कळतलें पयलें. For them they will say it's becoming big and going back. Grow, shrink शिकवला. So you're comfortable in using that language. Fine. Your students, you understand. Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. So you're saying it is growing and shrinking. Very good. आणि किती जाते का? भेटूही जाता. Wow. So once I get it rotating, can I control whether it is anti-clockwise or clockwise? So can that be considered as a problem right now? Not really. I need to get my square rotating first, no? Let's go back to what we solved earlier. Code koi na kai. Don't even go to the code. We had solved something over here, and I asked you what was the behavior of that square. What was happening to that square? It was just rotating. Teka poilo आणि एका poilo जाल्यार कितें difference आता हिंगा आता?
Grow and shrink.
You are rotating and at the same time growing and shrinking also.
So while growing the speed is slow and while shrinking the speed is more.
Very good observation. So एक करून आम्ही आन्सर काढयाचो.
And it is happening continuously.
Happening हे म्हाका विचारून जालें आता. Genius. Very good. Anything more somebody saw? Or it was this much?
Increasing a specific size.
What?
Continuous increase and when it is specific.
It stops at a particular size.
Not zero.
So gradually
It doesn't
increasing. Very
become
good.
zero also.
You will get your answer here only.
Size doesn't become zero.
Size doesn't become zero. मुझे तो अपने मेथड स्टॉप करना पड़ता है.
Yes.
Nice observation. And believe me, teachers, you'll get more observations when you throw this open to students. No doubt, here and there that funny answer will come. But you'll get more answers from there. Done? Now let us wonder. First, तुमचे notice केले तुम्ही square is rotating from the center. How is that done? How is that done? That is translated. At the translation, everyone agrees it will go to the basic shape?
Yes.
Remember the basic rule, anything rotates if it is drawn from the center. Otherwise it just spins like this. So the answer to this question of mine when I say how is, I will say that's translated basic shape. एक problem solve झाले? Next problem. Grow and shrink and rotate. These are two separate problems. I had given you a clue that first, एक कुछ problem आ गया. That was rotation. So now, what has changed? What has changed? How do I achieve rotation? That's rotated guy. Come on. Something getting bigger. Bigger. Remember, no teachers, most of the times it is just three functions that we use. That's rotated, that's translated, and that's scaled. Translated means they can use when I want to move that square somewhere. Rotated will be if I have to spin it there only. And grow and shrink, or changing the size, is the scale of that. So, that's scaled. Both these, where do I apply? Do I apply it to the basic shape?
Animated.
Why animated square? I am moving something now, no? Basic shape मध्ये किती जाणार constant, but she has why I am telling you, no teachers, many a times if you put these wrong in the sense you put them up or no, it is not right or wrong here. The effect that it will give is something different. At home when you are trying, just try all these things out. Just put it on top and see what happens. Just remove and put 0,0 and see what happens. That is up to you. How much you explore. So right now, माझी दोन problem are solved. This will be going to animated square. Next thing is, teacher Pallavi pointed out, she said there is speed involved. पडले जाता, दाखले जाता तिथून speed हा. घूमता तिथून speed हा. क्या करने का? If you go back to the previous sequence, किती झाले तिंगा? How do we control the speed with? Gives you answer. And that continuously moving forever.
Repeat forever.
Where do you put that? So the contract of animation says that it can take a forever repeated along with it if given an input. Okay? So don't get confused. You have broken down your problem in a very, very nice way. Contract बरोवंक जाव आता? I'm asking. Contract बरोवचो पडटलो ह्या प्रॉब्लमाक? Why not?
For animated square.
Animated square contract मातसो चेंज जाता. But does it change these? That means if I work my way around somewhere here, I can still get it working. So I'm not trying to undo whatever you have done. You don't have to work on a new contract, use the same contracts, but yes, once you know here, आता तुका मातशी change करतो. Clear? Final is you start. And most of us, what we are going to do is, last code down I will save as, I will make a new file. New file means this file I'm going to make changes to that. Why I'm saying this again is that code important then? By heart jana not required. If I know which parameters to change, I can use the same old code. So these were starter file ko dili. Your work is done. So starter file doesn't have the whole code, it will have everything else, but some changes you have to do. Ready? Now start. I'm again saying paperwork is important. Maybe drawing it on 2 separate pages or 2 separate places might help show you what is changing. Final, this is to change the code. And code change korba, I've actually almost solved it for you over here. This part is the code way you change. Many of us, now listen, teacher, the problem that you all are facing was the same problem I faced too when I was doing this code. Same. It just went huge sarge, didn't even stay on the screen, or sometimes you were just rotating, not doing anything else. Now sir tried a different way. He took more keyframes, aning ek animation gele and aning ek gele. Chalta. It's not wrong. And like I always say, code can't be wrong. We have to find the efficient code. If that can be done in one keyframe, one set of keyframe, why not do it that way? What are the other challenges you will have faced? Zaida Zanang Muntelidami, state value ekut pass sata. And you're saying in the keyframes you put 2 values. Correct? Everyone is facing that problem. That's exactly why we have done this. Maje 2 values ki because I'm trying to give values to 2 functions right now. How to give is the challenge. Now let me explain something to you. I'll just write it here in the middle because I need to make a reference to this. Everyone understands how this works? Or magir value kaun manita? So achamkar आप कितने sequence value निकालो? They all go here and then keep rotating the way. Our issue was okay till rotation. Now suddenly our problem has increased. You got to scale it also. Correct? So now all of us are trying this new thing. When I said it has to pass 2 values now. So you are putting a comma here and passing another value. What is your value? Who receives that? State 0 का एलो ने किधर डाले? तो इलो हाँ तो इतना हो गया. So here what you could try was putting another one by saying state 1. Maybe there are other ways of doing it also. This way, you are just reducing your confusion. And now I know that all the state zeros will be my values which are going to rotated, and all these state 1 values which I am passing here will go to scale. Now where will you place it? Hunga also padlo, basic stepan also padlo, animated stepan, yes. Don't define another sequence, because in this sequence itself I can use it, no? The most picture.
Two animated squares there play.
No.
And string.
In this itself.
And that is
याच्या मुखार तूं बरयता मागीर न्हू स्टेट and then sequence double. आता तूं सांग म्हाका हो खूंय वयतलो, हो स्टेट 0 वयतलो, स्टेट 1 कोणाक
कॉमा घालून घालपाचें स्टेट 1 घालपाचें कॉमा घालून स्टेट 1
Where will you put it now? State 0 ने एका दिलो, state 1
So
that's rotated square त्याचा तुम्ही comma घालून.
सगळ्यांकडे याचे 2 मेथड्स आहेत, स्केल्ड आहा, रोटेटेड आहा. स्टेट 0 कोणाक दिला? रोटेटेड केलो, उरलो कोण? स्टेट 1 उरलो, तो कोणाक दिवपाचो?
स्केल
काम खतम.
डन
नो सो एफिशिएंट वे न्हू.
झालं
तर राइट राउंड गोवन इल्ले परस हिंगा जालो. See teachers, if you haven't understood, once have understood, continue.
डन
कोणाक सोजमांक ना पोतून विचार, पोतून एक्सप्लेन कर. I will explain it again. Everybody agrees that this one will take 2 functions, scaled घेतलो आणि rotated घेतलो. Correct? So, according to the contract, कितले values pass करचे पडले? Scaled कितले values घेता? 1 value. Does it take 1 value comma another value? No. Scaled means only 1 value. Rotated कितले घेता? 1 value. That's translated कितले घेता? Why 2 values there? X value also पडटा Y value. So now, till now we have been passing this 1 value in sequence, correct? So that means this 1 value which is being passed is going into state 0. State 0 आम्ही एका दिल्लो हा न्हू, that's rotated हा. त्याच्या ब्रॅकेटान state 0 घाल्लो हा. So that means our first part is done. Now my challenge is, my scaled also requires a variable. It also requires values to be given. So here what I am going to do is, I am taking another state 1 and these values now will be passed into state 1 which will be given to scaled. So scaled acha bracketan state 1 येतो. त्याच्या rotated acha bracketan state 0 येतो. Let's take this challenge a little further. Suppose there was this translated also in us. माहित आहे का किती केलं बरं आता? Unning sequence दिवूया, unning keyframe दिवूया, और state value थोड़ा बया. Now everyone gets it? So that means I will be increasing another value over here. आणि एका नाव दितलो state 2, state 3, and my that will be passed on to this transit. So why is that? Because the contract says send 2 values. एक value धाडलो, error येतो. Scaled ला 2 value धाडून जाते. Your output doesn't have to be exactly this. See, the problem was we had to take a square, rotate it, Scaling. आता तुझे स्केल मातशें व्हडलें जाता मातशें ल्हान जाता, not an issue. If it doesn't go back into that, not a problem. What is more important is you should know where to put the state values. तो state 0 हुई होयचो, state 1 होयचो, तेका value होयचो, so that is important. And another thing, let me remind you, your keyframes always has 0 to 100. Always. तो ये जर 100 इंगाचो काढलो or you comment it out, it will give an error. Error in the sense it doesn't display anything. So remember that your timeline is from 0 to 100. ताच्या भितर ते values सांगते. How you play with the values is up to you. जाता न्हू? Translate करूंक जाता? You can try. So translator आम्ही एक दोन value वाटले, state 2 and state 3. And I'll be able to answer if you're listening. Are you all listening, teachers?
Yes, sir.
I am so happy to see the smile on your faces when you are getting the output.
Yes.
Sir, burgi ko naam ji. Yes, ale maji. Sir came up with a very, very relevant question, and he says, how does this happen again and again? If I don't put that repeated forever there, then how will I know that the repeated forever goes there only? कशें कळटलें? कोण सांगतलो तें तेंगा वचोंक जाय म्हणून?
Dot control space.
I kept repeating this. The contract of animation says it can take repeated forever along with it. But inside the bracket or outside the bracket? Try करून पाहूया. तुम्ही सांगताय म्हणून.
चलना सर.
If I try outside, देखो ये 100 अगले आते हैं. Do you see it here? But if I click inside, dot master. If I press a dot, then it shows up. That means the contract of animation says that if I put a dot and I call a process or a method, it should come. तेका लागून ब्रॅकेटा भायर तो चलना, ब्रॅकेटा भितर चलना. Till here, any problem, teachers? I'll come. I think you have to manipulate your true or false somewhere. True or false. What will happen if I remove the true and put false? It looks nice though. That square still remains in it. Again, that is creativity. Next challenge. Before teacher Manjusha says, Are Deva, let me explain. I got that to me? What is the change here now? If you notice, only one thing has changed. Kide change dale? Shape. It is rotating. What is it, teacher? Yeah, all the shapes when they rotate, if you want this effect, it will be from the center.
Yeah.
Now let me take you to day 1. Day 1 कोणे घेयल्लो of this मागीर तुम्ही करा मागीर कितें जालें Maya. So I went this week, the first session was taken by Maya. No? She had shown one code of a polygon. See, now the point that I'm trying to do here, teacher, is that I can change basic. आम्ही आता basic shape घेतली square. Polygon कसो काडटे? तेका code आसलो न्हू. And I'm sure most of us have saved that code. Or teacher shared it, I think. No. Share करूंग. आहा पण कोणाकडे So if you have understood that day, this should be easy. आता बेस्टी सांगना काय तरी सांगोंग ना. See, teacher is sharing the code to you. जाऊ साहेब सारखी हिंगा पावली तुम्ही म्हाका हिंगा दुल्लो code जाय. See teachers, I am not talking about the code. No by hearting of the code. All I'm trying to tell you now is we have removed the square from there. And what I have put is a polygon. So the code that is how you are going to modify or how you are going to change. Again, what do you notice? In the notice, you will see that the basic shape has changed. Now there is no more square. Polygon. Polygon काडपाचो code teacher धाडटा.
There is a way.
Sorry.
रावता
म्हणटा तो सर. मागीर कितें करचें पडलें? That means two states which are sent are the same. So तो थिंग येता रावता कित्याक next state is same रावचो पडटा. Understood how it works?
So it is two frames, two states are same or two keyframes are same? Keyframes, no?
Yes.
Two keyframes are same.
But the keyframe state value that so I mean that
Keyframes मधले दोन फ्रेम
same आहे. एका स्केलिंग ना. So don't कितें म्हणटलो problem तुझे वाडय नाका. The problem here is instead of a square I'm having a polygon and it is only rotating. आणि तो कांय कोना. गोटे मदींच stop जाता. That stopping can be handled a little later. मातशें उपरांत करूंक जाता. But till now yes. So now what we are practicing is, what if the square is no longer there and I'm given a new shape? Will I be able to do it? Should be able to. काल टेडीचे दोडे वयताले न्हू तशें तुमी करताय आतां म्हाका. Looking on the side, they are looking this side. Just break the problem now. After you break the problem now, you realize change munti inga जावंक जाय. Now can anybody tell me what was the change here? Pentagon. So we had to change this part, no? Correct? Inga polygonacho code. Magi आणि हुई change जाता ते.
दोन सेंटी बचे.
Yeah. No, I'm saying this shape that we have drawn now. Where do I take it then? Animated polygon हा तिका वापरपाचे. That is the place where the state will be transferred every time. So instead of square dot that's rotated, we have taken shape from path. That is the name given to that shape. Teka जो name polygon दिले तका तिका घालूंक जाता. So any difficulty till here? Everybody has understood. So now you know why we changed the shape. After in the morning around the noon time, we were trying to change contracts and see, no. Same thing. Explain. So comfortable till here? Everyone? Okay, no? Now, let's take the challenge a little bit higher. Till now what we have achieved is, we have tried changing the shape, change the amkode. We have tried controlling the values. We could do that. I saw many teachers did rotation, they did scaling, and thing were translation we galon them whole square, chordon, deon, sarke sokal bhag. The other side. So that means the creativity is up there. You've understood where to change the values. Now let us try a little more control over this. Let's take a shape. Okay, so I will put it up. Let's see how you. Again, teachers, see. Let's follow the process. Please, direct code korina. All this was a little related, so we could. Does writing help?
Yes.
How? Tumi sanga pe.
Breaking down.
Helps. No? Teacher Pallavi asked me one question. Words are inchallo no. Maka poila to sojmong na. I said I will work on it. Then I asked her, teacher, just draw and show. And she drew it. And draw koso kelo jano. So there is a way in telling also. She drew x-axis, y-axis carding. But the square insa ningum na wali orong jay. Now I know that if it is moving this side, so kai ninja cat boila dilo. So that x value needs to be changed. And y, so it helps that way. So now maybe for the homework, this is regarding the homework. I know many of you all are facing your challenges at home, in school, yet you all are sending the homework, which is an amazing task that you all are doing. When I saw the homeworks on the first day, when teacher Maya showed, was so amazed to see those, teacher. Kai bore bashen tumi tumcho homework hota hai. So much of creativity. Take it from there. Now, teacher Maya, Sir Jaivan and myself, we have designed homeworks only for these 3 days that we have taken. Teacher Maya on first day Gainlo, she designed the homework. Sir Jaivan took yesterday, designed the homework. My homework will come. Okay, so just these 3 days we have done. Okay, it at homework kite yopache ha te sangta tumne. Okay, let's do this one last activity. Okay, at the last one begin kushi korun dawya jay na please. Tashi ani koche. Let's do it the way we have followed the process for all our things. Ajun pasun kela, this will become easier for you. Again, write it down. So I will put it up. So, regarding kind of color explanation, this is done, no?
Yes.
Teacher Maya, was more than what is not मध्ये स्टॉप होतो मग त्याचा पूर्ण स्टॉप होतो तो जरा हे वाढवायला पाहिजे ते ड्युरेशन आहे ना ते 8 बीट की फ्रेममध्ये ड्युरेशन 4 घालतो 5 घालतो
काल केला तर काय इझी जाते
हायर कर ते हायर
So the part that is animating here is the smile. Yes. Teddy केला तुम्ही? Teddy animate जाता? किती जाता Teddy? Teddy किती जाता आहे ना? Only the smile is getting animated.
It is using 7th standard method. This is using
Yeah, this is
8th
today's
standard
method. Today's method.
Yes.
Yes, smiling.
Done. Explanation done. See teachers, listen. No. How boy? Okay, listen teachers, listen. See, here the challenge is first to get that teddy done. Teddy boylo सांग आता तो टेडी एक भाषेन दिसोंक जाय म्हणून ना. No. See, the difference that I'm trying to make here to you is that Teddy is one picture. तेजी smile animate केल्या. So where is the animation done? For the smile. Teddy I have to draw. तो Teddy दोन सकल सांग जाता आता नी पाय आहे सेम केल्या. I am not an artist teacher, so I did whatever I could. So केन्नाय म्हाका turtle दिसता. The more I look at it, no, I only feel ashamed that I drew it that way. But sometimes it looks like a turtle. Sometimes alien को दिसता ते कान कशे केल्या म्हणून. But see, the important part here is we have to animate the smile. That is the challenge. केला तुम्ही काल?
Best thing is arc करता है.
That is to be achieved.
Mr. Arc.
The smile has to be animated. Like I said, teachers, break it down first. Break it down. There are yes. Now for your own creativity, you can try to make him cry. If you can get this up. Asfak tayar na? See teachers, this is for your own practice then later on. I got that to me? Teachers, attention. आता तुमचे मोती येतले. Our work is done. Listen teachers, for your own creativity, are you listening?
Yes.
आता इतलेंच केला म्हणून इथून काबार जायना. Doesn't end here. Things like these can be tried. You can make him cry. I have made another place where तो मोठ दोडे कोत्ता रोडता. Makes fat eyes. So when I'm making those eyes fat, is it rotated? Scaled, no? I'm making it bigger, making it smaller. Yes. So take your time. We are not in a rush with this. It is always good for you to practice. The practice korpak ek challenge asong jaye kide that I will finish this and complete. So these are the challenges I'm giving you. One thing please. I got that to me?
Yes.
Oh, atma god machi bodli. You know, in school this is the last period for you. Jana my mashok tan burgi line gutoli. So they are now getting ready. But still listen. You can turn off your laptop. One thing I will always say. Teacher Sonala please don't take codes. Mass of code share karna hai. Code. You can take someone's help, to see where you are going wrong, but don't take the code directly. Like I said, if you are not going to do the rough work, it is not possible. You will reach 1% of time expertise, then you don't require it anymore. Okay? आता आयचे दिसाक आवर्स पासून Are you all listening? Yes. If you all are not listening, we are not discussing the homework, and then it is up to you. आज सगळ्यांचे कान माझ्या हातान. Now the weight is the homework. Just before you all pack, see, today we might finish a little early, so you have enough time to pack your bag. तरी माझ्या ऐकवा नाही.
Ashely sir, Anand sir message केली.
Yeah. आता सगळे ऐकवतले माझे. श्वर याला. अरे बाबा माका उलो दिली आहे. I am waiting to go home. Okay, now teachers, listen. This is your attempt on the homework. Ada, when you look at it, it looks overwhelming. The thing is, I have gone through the same thing because Anay sir had shared this video with us. He said, 4. Done. For us, it took a struggle of 2 days to come back to this. It took 2 days. Now, before you go anywhere, what is the basic shape over here? So now you know where to go. Pentagon हुई केला. ये तो केला. ये file हा तो good. In that, where to put the changing variables, I'm not going to tell you. But what I want you to do is look at this very, very closely. Is it rotating?
No.
तुम्ही सगळ्यांनी नो म्हणले. I first rotate केला तेका. किती rotation?
No.
Also, the easing is not linear. Easing तेका दुसरे भाशेन. That you might see, it's easy. You just have to check there and then घालपाची. To understand this, my tip to you is first on a graph paper, draw the polygon first. And to draw kotta and so if you see a difference, that is where I'm working. You get what I'm trying to tell you? Say if I've drawn a polygon here and ya polygon acho ek kan odlolo ha. Call to come kide म्हणून so you know where to look at him there. आणि मुखार सांग ना. All this while, no, you all are like ready, packing bags. 3-4 पावटी सांगले ऐका रे बाबा ऐका. एक लोक ऐकून The tip is still here. I would say, morning we had done something here, no? We divided the page.
Peace and do wonders.
Yes. Please, when we say give us your rough work or whatever paperwork and then draw kelle asong there. Don't draw the final output. See, it is of no use. No? Final output जो राम video on हाथोट draw करता जाले, you are not checking what is changing. Keep asking yourself here, what is changing? आता तुम angle म्हणूंक शकता. So how you will go about this is first do the paperwork and truly do it, teachers. आता code हा म्हणून पत्ता होईता आणि तिंगा कोरिया जायना ते. तुमचे 2 दिवसांची जेम काढा. This is only one. Or जागो square करून आता. I'm not giving you anything more. Just work on this. See, teachers. If I tell you, no, teacher, this is the simplest change you can do. Simplest. And when we did it, आता सर कसं माध्यमाचे I also sketched it.
सरांनी 3 दिवस काढल्या.
And it was little.
काल रात्री सॉल्व केलं सरांनी. So हिंट सारखे घ्या कारण तुमका 3 दिवस लागतले.
No sir.
You कने काल अर्धवरण केले पाहिजे.
I did it after that.
It is not 3 days after that. It is the day you do it. That is why he is giving you hint. माझे बरेच ऐकून घ्या कारण तुमका 3 दिवस लागतले अर्धवराच्या कामात.
You have to draw, teachers. Draw करून केल्याशिवाय नो कळचे ना what is changing. And if you don't know what is changing, where are you going to put your statement? That is as simple as that. If you take one एक drawing तुझे polygonal and दूसरे where the कान ओल्डोला है, you will come to know what is the change.
Okay.
Okay, teachers over to
Feedback.
Very nice. Very